Hello, okay, and welcome back to the final video for today's lesson. Okay, I don't think this will be very long, and there is a small exercise I'm going to get you to try at home on your computer, and you can simply upload a screenshot. Okay, hopefully this ends up working a little bit better than the NS lookup problem that we had before. Okay, so over here in Packet Tracer, I've built up a small network. You don't need to do this, you certainly can if you want. I've set up a computer at 192.168.1.10. Yeah. Usual Class C private network stuff. And I've also set up a server at 192.168.1.1. Okay, so over here, there's two services I want to talk about. There's one right here called HTTP, which I switched on, and something called FTP. Okay, which is also switched on. So HTTP, of course, is the magic protocol of the internet, and FTP is a protocol used for transferring files. That's actually what this means, file transfer protocol. For those who are taking the web development courses, you might have seen the letters SFTP, which is Secure File Transfer Protocol. It's kind of a similar idea. It's used for transferring files between your computer and a server. Okay, now here's what I'm going to do is I want to come over here to the desktop and I'm going to open up a command prompt, and I'm not going to type anything here quite yet because I've got nothing at the moment. Okay, and I'm going to come over to here and I'm going to get on my PC something open, and I'm also going to get my server open at the same time. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a web browser, and I'm going to go off to my server 192.168.1.1. Okay, and I'm going to click on Go, and of course we see a page. Now I'm going to very quickly come over to my server, and I'm going to type a new command that we haven't seen before called Netstat. Okay, now take a look at Netstat. Netstat shows me a list of all of the communication that is going on with the network and what its current state is. Okay, and you can see right here active communications. First of all, there was a communication called TCP using the protocol TCP. Well, guess what? That's reliable communication. This is my address right here, 192.168.1.1. Port 80. Remember what I said about different services on different ports? Port 80 happens to be HTTP. And the foreign address is 192.168.1.10. In other words, what this says is that somebody from this computer opened up a connection on this port number from that computer and came to me. And of course, what's happened is, well, now it's closed. Okay, well, that's because they got their web page and they went away. Now, the interesting thing, if I try this again, you'll notice now it's gone. And that's because these things don't stick around forever. They only stick around for a short little while. Okay, so you can see if I could actually run this command while the page was being loaded, it would actually give me the status being open. But unfortunately, I don't know how to make this happen between the two, so I have to kind of use a slightly different trick. Okay, so we'll try this trick now in a second. All right, so new command as well. Oh, and can I type it over here? And yes, the answer is I certainly can type it right here. And this says that there's absolutely no active connections at the moment. Okay, well, here's a brand new command for you. Remember that the server is running a service called FTP. To use it from a client, you can type the words FTP followed by the address of the server you'd like to connect to. So 1.1. Okay, and of course it'll ask for a username, and I believe that it's called Cisco, and Cisco for the password. Okay, and you'll see now that it's logged in. But of course, here's the interesting thing. Let me come over here and type netstat again. And you can see that now, using a TCP protocol, somebody at 192.168.1.10 from port 1026, I'll explain that in a second, has now connected to me on port 21. Well, port 21 happens to be the FTP port. Okay, as opposed to port 80. And you can see right now the connection is established. Okay, well, that's because a person is currently logged in. Okay, so that's a little bit different than a web page. Now, notice the second thing. The port number on the remote computer has in fact changed, and yes, this does happen all the time. Usually every time when you open up a connection on this side, on the client side, you end up using another port. You have no prediction which port number it's going to be. It isn't necessarily always the next one. In this Cisco packet tracer, it does look like it. But there's sort of no guarantee of that. Now, I guess the only thing I could type is sorry, it must be quit. Okay, so you see the thing is gone, and now if I run netstat, you can see that it's once again closed. And of course, it's back out again. Well, let me go over here. Oh, now I typed in the wrong spot, sorry. Here's a server, here's the client. Okay, and let's run FTP once again. Okay, Cisco, and if I run Netstat again another time, you can see that something is being reestablished, but once again, it's coming from another port. Okay, so this Netstat command is quite important because it can show you who is connected to your computer or who your computer is connected to. Now, on these little Cisco packet tracer programs, they're not very interesting, but here, let's pop open this one here. Okay, so this is my actual computer, so let me clear the screen, and let's try the command netstat and see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get anything. This is the problem about me not running this in advance to see how it looks. So we'll give it a second and see if it gives me anything. If it doesn't, I think I might know a trick to make it give me something, so it doesn't look like it. So let me hit Control C, and I'm going to use the letters N, A, and T, which doesn't work in Cisco Packet Tracer, but it works here. Okay, perfect. That's a little bit better. Now let me scroll back and take a look at this, and I will explain how these work. Okay, what this is showing here shows me active connections. Okay, notice that some of the connections are in listening state, some of the connections are in established state. Okay, some of the connections are listening, some established. I don't see anything that's currently closed, but what's happening here? Okay, every one of these happens to say that there is a service listening on port 135 ready to accept connections from anybody using the TCP protocol. And right now, nobody's connected. I'm sitting around listening. Okay, what about this one right here? Okay, well, let me point at this particular value. I think this one will probably be all right. It says that 192.168.1.198, that happens to be this computer that I've got open, port 1561. Happens to be connected to 1521 on 192.168.30.31. And what that is, I know what this one is. This happens to be Oracle. So you see here, I've got a copy of Oracle Workbench open right now, which guess what? It's connected to the Oracle database server. Okay, so that's why I actually see this. And currently it is established. That's been established now for some time. Okay, so that's what these netstats show. All right, there's also a bunch of things here that could be connected for UDP, and well, these you can't really see if somebody's connected because UDP is simply one little packet at a time, then it disappears. Okay, anyway, so that's the difference. Look, all I want you to do, okay, on your computer at home, I'm going to get you to do one thing. So on your computer at home, okay, open a command prompt, and type netstat NAT. Okay, so we might as well include that one. You can try it without the letters NAT and see what it looks like. Yours might actually run faster than mine. Mine has some issues, and what it has to do with this N parameter. If you don't include this, it can be a little bit slower, and apparently mine is just completely slow. Okay, and what this will do is this will show which things you're currently connected to. Take a screenshot. Okay, take a screenshot and upload as proof of today's lesson. Okay, now what if the list goes too long? Okay, show me the first part only. Okay, so just show me the first part. You don't have to show me absolutely everything. Just show me the first part. In other words, back here, I would scroll back and you could do a screen capture of exactly this much here, and that would be fine as proof. Okay, all right, so that is your one and only exercise for the day. So sorry, it was quite a bit of background theory, but at least I hope you have a good understanding about the reliability of the internet, which is not particularly great, and what TCP does in order to deal with it. And as I suggested, my little reliable communication protocol is not that great. If you want the real details, go take a look at TCP, but it is quite a bit more complex, but it's because it has to be. Okay, so that's it for today's lesson. I'll be back with some more exercises, probably back to some packet tracer stuff next time. Okay, see ya.